cleanest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Need financing? No problem. BB's offers easy financing for all credit types, including in-house financing. Plus, they're paying top dollar for your trade. Voted top 3 dealership in Community Choice Awards 2 years in a row. Visit BB's Auto Sales, 2 convenient locations off Johnston Street and in Abbeville. bbsautosales.com. Cleanest cars in Acadiana. Looking for your next firearm? Come visit Louisiana Gun Shop in Broussard. We've got financing options, 12 months same as cash, plus layaways up to 90 days. With a wide selection of new and used guns, we've got something for every budget, big or small. Have an old gun collecting dust? Trade it in or turn it into cash. Need parts? We've got the largest selection of AR-15 components in the area, from springs to grips and buttstocks. Explore our ever-changing used inventory online at LouisianaGunShop.com. Louisiana Gun Shop, your one-stop shop for firearms and more.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Carencro Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros fell 8-3 last night to Minnesota to break their 5-series win streak. Tetsuya Imai only managed to go an inning and a third and gave up 5 runs on 4 hits and walked 5. Next up for the Astros, they'll have an off day today as they prepare to welcome in the Tampa Bay Rays for a 3-game set starting Friday night at Daikin Park. The United States advanced to the round of 16 with a 2-0 victory over Bosnia and Herzegovina last night in San Francisco, despite playing the final 26 minutes with only 10 men. Opening goal scorer Flo Balogun was sent off in the 64th minute after receiving a red card, forcing the U.S. to finish the match a man down. The red card also means Balogun will miss Monday's round of 16 matchup with Belgium, which advanced after defeating Senegal 3-2 yesterday in extra time. Also yesterday in the World Cup, England pulled off a 2-1 comeback win over DR Congo in Atlanta. England advances to play Mexico on July 5th in Mexico City. In a blockbuster move on Tuesday, the Boston Celtics agreed to trade Jaylen Brown to the Philadelphia 76ers in exchange for Paul George, 2 future first-round picks, and 2 future second-round picks. Brown leaves Boston after a 10-year run that included 5 All-Star selections and earning Finals MVP honors during the Celtics' 2024 championship season. LSU baseball picked up another pitcher out of the transfer portal yesterday, this time in Caden Smith from the University of South Florida. The incoming junior posted a 4.24 ERA over 46 2/3 innings last season with the Bulls. I'm Blake Persher, and you're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. Dynamic duos are nothing new to Louisiana sports fans. Breeze and Colston, Burrow and Chase. And here in Acadiana, we have our very own dynamic duo.
You're beautiful.
It's the big, bald, bearded, and beautiful one, Raymond Parch III.
I'm sexy and I know it.
And the man with the best head of hair in sports talk radio in Louisiana and Mississippi, James Meche. Here is RP3 and Meche on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
James Meche's team is making moves, making them big-time moves. He's beside himself. Oh, welcome into this Thursday edition of RP3 and Meche. I am the big, bald, beautiful one, Raymond Parch III, better known as RP3. And I'm joined inside the Beal and Hebert studios here in Upper Lafayette, Beal and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers, by the producer extraordinaire, the LAB award winner, the man with the best trash stash in sports media in the states of Louisiana and Mississippi, soon to be Yogurt U champion, and a man that's so happy with the direction of his Boston Celtics. He loves the fact that they're making cash dump moves, and looks like they're trying to do a rebuild. James Meche is also here. Good day, sir.
I wouldn't call it a rebuild, but I just don't agree with the move in the way they approached it by any stretch of the imagination.
getting the multiple first-round picks suggests to me that they're trying to do a rebuild. That's what it suggests. Now, you get signing Mike Conley at 40 years old suggests rebuild. Hey, let's go get us a veteran guy to come off the bench to do this. But then you get confused because they went out and got Mitchell Robinson, who's coming off winning a championship.
Mm-hmm.
So you got better defensively. My only hope, if I'm a Celtics fan this morning, because that is like Luka to the Lakers type of bad trade, is the thought process is that there's another move coming.
Yeah, I thought about it last night. I'm like, there's just no way that this is it.
There's no way Brad Stevens decides to make this move where you trade away a 29-year-old former NBA Finals MVP, a guy that carried the team this last season when your other star was injured. Is he a perfect player, Jaylen Brown? No. Is he a very good player? Yes. Mm-hmm. You traditionally don't trade away very good players for guys who are 36 years old and have spent half of their career injured. Now, maybe Brad Stevens says, well, Playoff P torched us in the playoffs last year, which he did. Paul George looked really good against Boston. But you traded a guy in his prime to a divisional rival who ousted you in the playoffs this year. And you took on a guy who's 36 years old. Look, Paul George has never been the player that he was before the devastating knee injury in Indiana. Like, he's never been the same. He's been a good player, but he's never been the same, right? Like, he was top 10 in the league before the injury. He's never been that guy again. You do this move, and you trade him to a divisional rival who bounced you out of the playoffs. And I go, there's some reek of desperation there where Boston didn't get what they wanted and weren't getting people to bite. So then it feels like, okay, we got to do something here because now we're point of no return with keeping Jaylen. So now we got to move him. For Philly, it makes all the sense in the world because I think Jaylen Brown and Maxey and Embiid are going to play really well together. I think they complement each other. I like that move for Philly. For Boston, yeah, you get maybe a better offensive player in Paul George, but one that has severe injury issues, like severe, half his career. You get picks. The only thing that I can think is that they're going, okay, we didn't get what we wanted out of Jaylen Brown. By the way, this whole narrative that he has a disease where he thinks he's the smartest person in the world, that's just stupid talk that we're now hearing about. I always want one of my guys, leaders, and starters on any of my teams, when they walk in the room, to feel like they're the smartest guy in the room, especially if they've been in the league for 10 years. Like, I don't want a dummy running my team.
I like it when they're dumb.
Like, that's just stupid. That's just stupid talk. The only thing that I can think of is that they got boxed in a little bit. And they go, this is a team that tried to go get Giannis and couldn't get Giannis because they didn't want to give up a role player. And they're like, well, that didn't work out, and no one's giving us the farm for Jaylen Brown, so we're going to get a couple of first-round picks, 2 first-round picks, 2 seconds, right? And Paul George?
Yeah. And even the Trailblazers also had thrown out what looked like a pretty good trade that I would have much preferred over what I saw yesterday.
So I think Stevens...
He played his hand
wrong.
Yeah.
Right? So then you pivot and you go, okay, what can we do?
Yeah, because he sees the value continuously drop, and he's like, well, let's just take this before it goes even farther down.
Now, do you take the picks that you get from Philly and you flip those to go get another piece? Like go get Trey Murphy from the Pelicans or go get somebody else? Because there has to be another move here if you're Boston. That's the only thing that makes sense. If there's not another move, James, you're doing a rebuild. That's what you're doing. That's what you're telling everyone that you're doing. You missed out on Giannis. You didn't get what you thought you were going to get for Jaylen Brown. You turned down what was probably better offers. You were forced to trade him to a divisional rival. You're going to take on an aging contract, but I want to say that Paul George, playoff P, is got 2 years on the deal.
Yes, 2 years left. Brown had 4 left.
Oh, so it feels like you're doing a salary dump. It feels like you have that equity firm that now owns the Celtics, and they're making moves based on saving money. And that's my concern. If they don't make another move here, and you gave up a guy in his prime, a former finals MVP, a top 25 player in the league, if you did that to simply dump salary, I'd be really, really concerned if I'm a Celtics fan.
Well, they didn't even dump that much salary because Brown was...
Well, the years, because George, right? So you had Brown under contract for 2 additional years
compared to PG,
compared to George, yeah.
Which I knew you weren't going to be able to have Brown. Like, if you were going to send him to Philly, I get that you have to take Paul George in this sense because of the money, because there's no way you can have Brown, who's getting paid $60 million, and then PG, who's getting paid $54 million, and then whatever Joel Embiid's getting paid, and then you're about to pay Tyrese Maxey if you haven't already. I haven't looked at Philly's contracts, but, I mean, just contractually wise, you weren't going to be able to have this many guys on that high of salary. So I get it that you were going to have to take Paul George in this sense for the money to work. But there was also talks of them seeing like, hey, we'd also like VJ Edgecombe in this sense. He's a young buck that showed a lot of promise. He looks like an absolute demon on the court. And then Philly said no, and then Brad Stevens was like, oh, okay, I guess we'll settle for 2 first-round picks. That's fine.
I think they got forced into doing something they didn't want to do. And that's I think exactly what happened to them. So we'll talk more about this later on today's show. We have a jam-packed Thursday edition. Once again, no Friday show because of the 4th of July holiday weekend. So we are going to jam-pack a lot of things into this show. Coming up at 11:35, we're going to talk all things World Cup with Kenneth Farrell. He's going to join us. He's got great insight analysis. It's been amazing. Team USA gets a huge win. They move on to the round of 16, but they're going to have to do so without their best player, gross, who got a controversial red card, which was also gross. We're going to then, at 12 o'clock, talk all things NBA with Keith Smith about all the free agency bonanza. Where's LeBron going? What are the Celtics doing? Are there more moves to be made here? What about another wild card team being thrown in there? You never do know. Then we're going to, at 12:30, talk Pels and Saints with our buddy Les East from CrescentCitySports.com. We'll also take some time to recap the Astros losing the series to the Minnesota Twins last night. And because we don't have no show on Friday, we're having our foodie poll question of the week, which, of course, is patriotic. We'll be unveiling that today as well. But let's go ahead and jump right in. It's time for today's specials.
The fellas can't help with your lunch plans, but they can serve up the top stories of the day in bite-sized pieces. Time to order up today's specials here on RP3 and Meche, presented by Southwest Volkswagen, located at 6184 Johnston Street. Order up.
Team USA got the job done. 2-0 victory on an exciting day of World Cup action where England was on the ropes. They made history by winning a World Cup match for the first time after trailing at halftime as they came back to take down their opponent. Team USA had their hands full, though. Bosnia was no joke, right? And they get a spectacular goal by their best player. Shout out to Team USA figuring out what so many other Olympic teams have done. Go find you players that necessarily weren't born here.
Well, he was born in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Balogun was born in Brooklyn, raised in Great Britain.
Correct. So he could be on the English team, but he's not.
And he's Nigerian.
So they have figured out the cheat code that so many people have done for the Olympics, where mom and dad may have citizenship, briefly somewhere you can go represent that country. So shout out to that. Once again, our best player, not necessarily homegrown, but I'm here for it because you want to win. Right? That's what all the other countries do too. So let's be fair. Great goal early. That was around the 68th minute, I want to say.
The first goal?
The first goal.
It was right before halftime by Balogun. So
yeah, that's right.
So they stole the ball back. They tried to make a pass, but it was a bad one. The defender got to it. The issue was it ricocheted off his foot, ended up hitting another Bosnian defender's foot, and it just absolutely stopped the momentum. And luckily where Balogun was, it just set him up perfectly because he kind of just shielded off the defender, shot it with his left foot, snuck it right under the goalie's leg, so he nutmegged him, and it went untouched into the goal. So for as many chances as the United States had where you felt like, oh, this is a really good opportunity, they just couldn't get it done, they finally broke through just minutes before halftime and went into the break with an actual 1-0 lead in a first half where you look at the game and you saw how much they had the ball possession time wise, and you look at the quote unquote momentum chart that they show throughout the game, you're like, okay, if they don't go into the half with at least one goal, that felt like it was going to be a failed first half with how dominant they had.
I thought the thing that stood out to me, and look, I am not locked into soccer. We've talked about that a lot. I thought their defense around the goal, in addition to the goalie, was magnificent. Mm-hmm. Bosnia had no real clean shots on goal. There was always traffic around. Even when they were trying to set up a shot on goal, the Americans were able to kind of swarm around it and make every shot on goal hard. Now, they had plenty of them, in credit Team USA's goalie, in credit, but that defense around the goal was magnificent. And I'm obviously a soccer novice, but that's the thing that stood out to me. You had the great penalty kick. I asked the group chat, and I went, okay, I understand that they set up the wall. Mm-hmm. They spent a lot of time setting up the wall.
Yeah, he was like right on the right edge, being like, okay, trying to make sure that he had the perfect angle that even if it bends around them, there's no way it sneaks by and gets into the goal.
But it did exactly that.
Well, that would be going around the side. The kick by Malik Tillman went just over the top.
But he set up the wall. But he wasn't in position because
he was trying to use the wall to cover up that side. That way he can go to the opposite.
He played more in the middle and kind of leaning towards the left. And by the time he was able to get over, he was able to get a hand on it, mm-hmm. but not nearly enough. And I just, that was one of those things where I texted both. I had two group texts going on at the same time.
Oh, popular.
And I went, so why did he set it up that way where he wasn't in position? Because he wasn't in position. But a great kick that was Tillman. That was the youngster, right?
Malik Tillman, yes, in the 82nd minute.
So great penalty kick, goal, great goal. We're just nicknaming the other guy Flo, right? That's what we call him.
Sure.
Right?
I mean,
right? That's what I've heard people say online, right? Or
I haven't seen the nickname, but I can understand it.
Okay. But then he also got a red card. And I thought the official in the teal jersey was an absolute bum.
He was awful.
He
genuinely awful.
To use one of the modern things on social media, he believed that he was the main character in the story of yesterday's match. He was terrible. I didn't view that as a red card. And I know a lot of people brought it up on social, what Messi did in their opening match where he threw the guy down, and that didn't warrant a card. So obviously the best player on the face of the planet is going to get a pass. But that seemed to be a yellow card offense at best.
At best. And the fact that it was a foul call, I think, but even then, if you wanted to call the yellow, I could have understood it. But the fact that it went from a no call or a foul that didn't warrant a card to all of a sudden an elevation of a red card was just utterly ridiculous, especially when you watch the replay back, even if you watch it in real time or in slowed down in the still shots. it still didn't warrant a red card. And even then, in the process that the referee used, you are not supposed to use the slow down VAR to review that type of penalty, because it makes it look even more malicious than it actually was. Because if you slow anything down and there's contact, you could easily be like, wow, that was just so malicious. That was ill intent. You have to watch it in real time. And when you did, both of them hit each other. And even if you watch it slow down and you look at it from the back angle, Balogun was looking at the ball. He had no idea where the Bosnian player's leg was. Gravity had to take its course, and he had to step somewhere. He just incidentally made contact with the ankle. And if you wanted to call it a red card, sure, because by definition with a yellow card, that is the case. But the fact that they used the wrong system to come to the wrong conclusion, two wrongs, guess what, Ray? Don't make a right. And that was just one of the utterly atrocious calls that ref made last night. Now, luckily, it didn't hold the USA back from winning the game because they were utterly dominant. But now it's going to hold them back in this next game against Belgium.
Best player or second best, I think him and the guys
and Pulisic
are like 1A, 1B, right? So those are your two best players. But your best scorer
is Balogun.
And now he's not going to be able to play. And I asked the group text, and people are like, maybe they can appeal it. There's no appeal process here for the red card. There's none.
They can look at it and decide if they want to, and they could appeal, but everything that is shown is that they will not be taking it back.
So on Monday, when they take on Belgium,
who had an improbable comeback yesterday
as well
against Senegal,
now you're not going to have your best goal scorer against Belgium up in Seattle on Monday. It's brutal. It's brutal because it's one of those things where it just kind of rains on the parade a little bit. It's 4th of July weekend. Team USA gets the big win. They're moving on to the round of 16. This manager has won more World Cup matches than any manager in Team USA history, which is awesome and sad kind of at the same time. But that joy is tempered because one of your best players and your best scorer is not going to be able to go onto the pitch on Monday against Belgium. So now you're going to have to beat the team that ousted you in a previous World Cup, a team that's traditionally better than you, and you're going to have to do so without your best goal scorer. That's not awesome. Not awesome. Got to take a timeout. When we come back here on RP3 and Mesh, it's Thursday, but we're doing our foodie poll question of the week a day early because we're off tomorrow for the holiday weekend. And, of course, it's patriotic. And there's only one right answer for this poll question, by the way, just to give you a heads up. We'll unveil it and talk about it next.
Today's specials here on RP3 and Mesh, presented by Southwest Volkswagen, located at 6184 Johnston Street.
Ready to upgrade your drive? Right now at Southwest Volkswagen, the stunning 2026 Volkswagen Tiguan is yours with massive summer savings. Right now, you can get 1.9% APR for 60 months or get $2,500 on select models customer bonus towards your best deal on select trims. Turn heads with its completely redesigned upscale look, advanced safety features, and smooth high-tech ride. Don't wait. These offers end June 30th. Stop by Southwest Volkswagen today or visit southwestvdub.com for details.
Do you need more of the fellas here on Southwest Louisiana's sports station? Of course you do. So go make sure and subscribe to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles YouTube channel at ESPN_SWLA. Don't forget to turn that bell on so you get notifications for new episodes of Four Tire Change Podcast, where Dawson Iserloh talks all things NASCAR, or Cleats and Sneaks with James Mesh. Get yourself more of Southwest Louisiana's sports station at ESPN_SWLA on YouTube. Celebrate America's 250th birthday, powered by Regional Homes of Opelousas and ESPN 1037 and 1041. We're giving you the chance to win a 250th Anniversary of America flag and flagpole kit. Listen on air for the American Trivia question, and you could be one of our lucky winners. We're giving away 5 flag and 5 flagpole kits during the week of July 4th. Thanks to our friends at Regional Homes of Opelousas. Salute, and happy 250th birthday, America.
The best businesses aren't just businesses, they're neighbors. Here's a message from a proud certified South Louisiana business.
Brobridge Truck Stop Casino. They have the newest games around. Hot seat drawings and monthly specials like no one else. Located on the Brobridge Highway and on the banks of the Vermilion River. Come out today and try your luck at the Brobridge Truck Stop Casino.
When you support local businesses, you strengthen the communities we call home. Shop local, support local, certified South Louisiana.
Happy birthday, America. Celebrate our 250th birthday with the largest selection of guaranteed fireworks in Acadiana at Freeman's Discount Fireworks. Their low prices are unbelievable, and all fireworks are guaranteed. They have a huge selection of novelty items to choose from, a large selection of fireworks, and Freeman's Fireworks has the largest selection of artillery shells, assortment packs, and 500-gram cakes. Celebrate America's 250th birthday with your family and the Freeman family with guaranteed fireworks that everyone enjoys. Freeman's Discount Fireworks has 2 convenient locations in New Iberia. They're building on Jefferson Island Road at Admiral Doyle next to Freeman's Food and Furniture, and the Big Tent on Main Street near the corner of Nelson Canal Road. For the largest selection of guaranteed fireworks at the best prices, shop Freeman's Discount Fireworks. Make it a spectacular Independence Day.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Your home for the best local sports talk in Southwest Louisiana.
Give them what they want, James Meche. Give them what they need on a Thursday, which is really a Friday.
Of course, that means it's our foodie poll question of the week. And with it being just a couple of days away from our country's birthday, we had asked you on Facebook and on X, what is the most patriotic American cookout food? Of course, we're looking at hot dogs. Get your hot dogs. We got hamburgers, barbecue. The picture that we used was ribs, which, I mean, that's just an absolute staple. Or is it something else? Right now, hot dogs leading the way, 40% of the votes. A third have said hamburgers. It's a delectable hamburger that I see as the picture that AI used. I appreciate that.
Shout out to BP for making it.
Absolutely. 13% have said barbecue, and then 13% have said other. We've gotten a couple of comments so far. Joe says he's from Louisiana. I can't say the first word. We've got Kai, who said hot dogs, right? With a question mark. Didn't say it emphatically. Come on, Kai. If you're going to say hot dogs, you say hot dogs with an exclamation point. Just like JBK had said with a barbecue. We also have Ralph saying it's driving to the store in your Silverado from Service Chevrolet to buy wieners, grilling them, then send down to watch baseball. Of course, for dessert is a hot apple pie.
Oh. Whoa there. Love it.
Ton says, wait, brats aren't a choice? Boy, that's the worst. Seriously, though, you can't go wrong with any of these. As long as you're cooking outside, drinking a beer, and lighting firecrackers, you're good. America.
Absolutely outstanding.
What says you?
Oh, it's easy. It's hot dogs.
Okay.
Look, I will hear and be respectful to barbecue, which I love.
Big fan of barbecue.
Love hamburgers. Love hamburgers on the grill. But for me, what do I do every time I walk into a baseball park?
You get a hot dog.
There we go. Baseball is America's game.
It's the most American food.
It's America's pastime, and I get a dog every single time. You know what I told my wife this morning? She was like, hey, I'm making up a list for the grocery store. I go, don't forget to get hot dogs and hot dog buns because I will grill up some dogs on the 4th of July celebrating America's birthday on Saturday. Like, it's the food that's most identified with our national pastime. It's easy for me. It's hot dog.
It's easier to envision, and you're going to see this with our show tweets. Shout out to BP also putting all of us in Uncle Sam outfits. I could imagine if someone's wearing an Uncle Sam outfit, that if they're eating a food, it's a hot dog before it's a hamburger. That's how I envision it. Now, I prefer hamburgers over hot dogs, but that's not the question we're asking. We're asking what's the most patriotic American cookout food? And the answer is hot dogs. The way you dress it may be different. I know some people love mustard, which I think is absolutely crazy to me. And sometimes it's the only thing they put on the hot dog.
My fellow Germans will take exception to what you're saying, but I'm going to let
That's
it pass
fine. That's fine. I mean,
let it pass.
They had to head back to Germany anyway from the World Cup.
They did.
See you later, suckers. But no, to me, hot dogs is the most patriotic food. I think hamburgers and barbecue and even the potato salad and beans and everything else that are options, I think they're great. But the most patriotic food are hot dogs.
They are. But keep those votes coming. Keep leaving your comments on Facebook and on X, and we'll make sure to share them throughout today's show. Always love to hear from you guys. It is absolutely phenomenal. We got to take a time out. When we come back, this is what we're going to be doing. It's time for us to talk World Cup with Kenneth Farrell. That's next.
This is RP3 and Meche live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
So many delicious sliders out there. How many can you eat, though? That's a really good question. Well, you can find out by taking part in Lafayette Small Sliders Eating Contest held during the Lafayette Anniversary Bash on Saturday, July 25th at 4611 Ambassador Caffrey Parkway. During the location's Anniversary Bash, which also features bounce houses and games for kids, live music, and more, there will be an eating contest. To sign up to see if you have what it takes to win said contest, visit ESPNSouthwestLouisiana.com and click on the Small Sliders sign-up sheet.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros fell 8-3 last night to Minnesota to break their 5-series win streak. Tetsuya Imai only managed to go an inning and a third and gave up 5 runs on 4 hits and walked 5. Next up for the Astros, they'll have an off day today as they prepare to welcome in the Tampa Bay Rays for a 3-game set starting Friday night at Daikin Park. The United States advanced to the round of 16 with a 2-0 victory over Bosnia and Herzegovina last night in San Francisco, despite playing the final 26 minutes with only 10 men. Opening goal scorer Flo Balogun was sent off in the 64th minute after receiving a red card, forcing the U.S. to finish the match a man down. The red card also means Balogun will miss Monday's round of 16 matchup with Belgium, which advanced after defeating Senegal 3-2 yesterday in extra time. Also yesterday in the World Cup, England pulled off a 2-1 comeback win over DR Congo in Atlanta. England advances to play Mexico on July 5th in Mexico City. In a blockbuster move on Tuesday, the Boston Celtics agreed to trade Jaylen Brown to the Philadelphia 76ers in exchange for Paul George, 2 future first-round picks, and 2 future second-round picks. Brown leaves Boston after a 10-year run that included 5 All-Star selections and earning Finals MVP honors during the Celtics' 2024 championship season. LSU baseball picked up another pitcher out of the transfer portal yesterday, this time in Caden Smith from the University of South Florida. The incoming junior posted a 4.24 ERA over 46 2/3 innings last season with the Bulls. I'm Blake Persher, and you're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you. ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Row coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
Ozempic, Wegovy, GLP-1s. Every day, one thought haunts you. What if I stop? A 2026 British Medical Journal study says you're going to gain every pound back. So, what now? Well, there's an answer. Alex Goen patented hypnosis. The Journal of the American Medical Association says adding behavior therapy to GLP-1s produces 3 times the results than GLP-1s alone. And hypnosis is behavior therapy concentrated. Alex Goen Hypnosis is the only U.S. patented hypnosis proven useful by the U.S. Patent Office. Engineered to destroy cravings, make you full on half the food, and kill late-night fridge attacks. Only $59.99 or your money back. Weight loss seminar Saturday, July 18th at the Hilton Garden Inn Cajun Dome, 11 a.m. Sign up at alexgoen.com. That's ALEXGOEN.com.
Acadiana area businesses. Is it time to make an impact? Time for more traffic, more engagement, time for more customers? Then it's time to make a splash with Bass. Bass is now offering digital marketing, indoor and outdoor digital signage, billboards, and video production to help you reach more customers and close more business. For over 30 years, Bass has helped our customers tell their story. Bass Companies. Remember, a business without a sign is a sign of no business. Advertise with Bass. Find us around Acadiana or at bassltd.com.
Oh, look who's here.
Everybody Loves Raymond is on MeTV.
Who told you that?
Raymond!
America's #1 classic TV network.
Nothing even comes close.
Enjoy 2 back-to-back episodes every weeknight.
We're doing it twice.
Watch Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, it's all about you, Raymond.
Weeknights starting at 8 on MeTV.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, broadcasting live from the Beal and Hebert studios in Upper Lafayette. Beal and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers. Back to more of Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
And we head out to the ESPN hotline to continue our conversation about the World Cup. USA gets it done last night, and most of the round of 16 pairings are figured out. To talk about it all, we talk with our new friend, Kenneth Farrow, who is the former chairman of the National Premier Soccer League. Kenneth, how goes it on this Thursday, my friend?
Oh, I'm quite happy after last night's result.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, I would say overall, even with the controversy that came down last night, I would still say it was an overall win. I thought even though it was only 2-0 and it felt like this could have been like a 3 or 4-0 game, and then even U.S. having to play with 10 players for the last 30 minutes or so of the match, it still felt like it was an utterly dominant win by the States.
Yeah, I mean, they did what they had to do. They were a better team, and it was always going to be tough for them because Bosnia do play pretty rugged defensive play and playing counterattack, and they knew what they were going into, and I think they executed really well. I think they moved the ball well around the edge of the box, created chances, could have had some more goals. And you're right, it's unfortunate that Balogun got red carded, which I absolutely 100% disagree with. There was never any intent on that. It was just coming down out of the air. So that's a difficult one going forward for the next game because he's automatically suspended for the game against Belgium in the next round, which hurts because he is their goal scorer. However, on last night's game, most of the players played extremely well, did their jobs perfectly. And if you look at it, when you get to these rounds, there's no big scores, there's no massive blowouts, you know. So when you think that they kept a clean sheet and they scored 2 goals, I think that's a success for sure.
Looking at how the red card came into play, I agree with you. There was no malicious intent. If anything, when you watch the slow down replay that the ref shouldn't have even looked at when they were going to review it, you could even see that Balogun's eyes were on the ball. He had no idea where he was stepping. It just so happened that he made incidental contact. I would say if you wanted to give him a yellow card after not giving him anything to begin with, that's understandable. I can understand if you wanted to give him a yellow card, but the fact that it went from nothing to a red card when they used the wrong process of using VAR in that instance, when that's against the rules, I just don't understand how they could come to that conclusion and not change anything the morning after.
Yeah, well, excuse me, the rules are the rules. I think once you get a straight red, it's an automatic no appeal. If it had been like a 3-match suspension, you could appeal, but he's going to have to sit the game. But the referee did get it wrong. If you were just to look at that in a still photograph where the contact was made, you would think that was a very bad tackle. But it actually wasn't a bad tackle. He was going for a ball in the air, and he just came down with no intent. He had no infractions in the game prior to that. He's a clean player, and it was just very obvious that he just came down. And, you know, it's hard for me to understand why a red card was given for that. I just can't get my head around that one. And obviously they're professional referees, but I just don't understand where that came from. And I think most pundits and most people that were watching that game last night, fans, would not be able to understand that it was purely an innocent accident.
How does this change things now for the United States as they get ready for their round of 16 matchup versus Belgium on Monday?
Well, there's a couple of things. You know, one, you've got to look at the opposition and see if you want to play in the same formation or do you want to change the formation a little bit. Obviously, Balogun, who is their goal scorer, and is a very key component, always has been to make it through the rounds. It's got to be replaced. So if they play in the same formation, what player replaces Balogun, and do they keep the rest of the team playing the way they do? Or were they going to change tactically against Belgium, change the team a little bit? And of course, Balogun again has to be, you know, how do you replace that? So we had a lot of possession last night, and we always knew that we would. And we knew that Bosnia would play past their midfield into strikers and then try and get players up around the striker to see if they can get on the other side of the field. So Belgium won't do that. Belgium will play out of the back, keep a lot of possession, and they will probably have more possession than the U.S. in the next game. So there's a couple of considerations that have to be considered. One is who replaces Balogun, media goal scorer. It's probably going to be Pepe. But does he even play? He played basically in a 3-5-2 last night, which was very clever, I thought. But will he go into a 4-4-2 or will he go 4 or 5 at the back? We don't know. He's going to approach the game differently tactically. The game will look different against Belgium. We can win the game. I truly believe we can win the game. I think we're playing well enough, and with, you know, the players' confidence and making very few mistakes anywhere in the field, I think that we can go win that game. But again, there's going to be a tactical rearrangement, I think, understanding that we will not be the team that possesses the ball through the game. It was dominant possession during the game. So there's a lot of things go into it. Balogun, for me, I think he's going to make a straight swap with Pepe. It seems to be his next striker to go to. And I think that's how it's going to happen. We'll find out during the week when we talk to us, you know, and give out some hints about how they're going to play. But it will be a different game. It'll be a very different game, but a very winnable game.
And even looking at Belgium last night, it felt like they were dead in the water when you came down to the last final 10 minutes or so when they're down 2-0. And then all of a sudden, I mean, they make the comeback of all comebacks, scoring 2 goals within 3 minutes of each other, and then even get the extra time goal to win it 3-2. It kind of feels like they almost used all of their luck and hope into that match just to move on to the next round. Maybe it's a little bit of wishful thinking on my part as an American, but at the same time, with everything that went down last night and not being able to do too much in the first 80 minutes, despite not having Balogun in this next matchup, this does feel pretty favorable in a sense for the Americans.
Yeah, I don't think Belgium are firing on all cylinders. But when you do have world-class players on your team, you can turn a game in seconds. So you have to keep it. They're an aging team, and they're a team that over the last probably 8 or 12 years have probably underachieved. They haven't won a big tournament, and they've had some very good players, but they're starting to age. And but again, you can't switch up for a second. It's usually the last 10 minutes of the game when players start to lose concentration. They're tired, their bodies are worn down, and that's when your concentration and focus has to be at its highest, and you need to know that. And I did think that the Senegalese team got a little bit tired towards the end. Belgium took advantage of it. But again, they're not playing as well as they probably can. And hopefully they maintain that so that when we play them, they'll be a little bit dull. I feel good about the USA playing Belgium. I really do. I know we played them in a preseason game or a pre-World Cup game not too long ago, and we lost to them. But again, I wouldn't count anything into that. I think we're primed and ready to play this game. I'm very excited. It'll be very close. But again, when you carry some world-class players, and they do, even though they're aging, you've always got to keep your eye on them, and they can change the game in any second.
And what have you made of just the defense by the U.S. so far? Because they've only given up a couple of goals so far. I know Mexico's given up none, but it's still been impressive to see what the Americans have done so far. Guys like Ream and Robinson, those guys just feel like an iron wall that opposing teams just cannot penetrate whatsoever.
Yeah, I would add Richards in there as well. They are. But I've said this from the beginning. If I know that we can be a creative side, I know we can create chances, and it's obvious we can score goals. So, but we're very thin around the defensive area. We can't afford injuries. The players that we have in there are vitally important. And Freeze as well, the goalkeeper, is vitally important to us, because as the games go on, there's going to need to be 2 or 3 very big saves, because you're going to play against some very good players. But I do give them a lot of credit for the way they've handled it around the back so far, especially in the central defensive positions and the holding midfield positions. They have been very, very good. But again, the games will start to change a little bit, because so far in all the games, we've had the majority of possession, as I said before. Now we're going to have to bunker in at certain times in games as we start to play teams going forward that are left in the tournament that probably will be, have more control of the ball during the game than we do. So the defense is vitally important. When people asked me before the World Cup, like who's going to be the key player, I said, well, probably Tim Ream and Richards, and people, and they were like, really? What about Pulisic and other players like that? And I said, look, if we're going to go deep into the tournament, we know those players are very good, but our defense has to stay strong, and we have to keep clean sheets. So it's very, very important that we don't get injured there, because I don't think we have the replacements off the bench to replace them. They're playing at a very high level, high quality right now.
We're talking with Kenneth Farrell. He joins us here on RP3 and Meche as we're talking all things World Cup. All right, Kenneth, I want to step away from Team USA, and I want to look at some of the other countries that are in this tournament that have been impressive. England found themselves on the ropes in a big way yesterday against Congo. They had never won a World Cup match trailing at halftime, but they were able to pull it out late. Harry Kane, we know he's special, right? I mean, he's all-time great. But just give me your thoughts on what you've seen from England. They always seem to have a letdown in a World Cup, especially here in modern times. Does your perception of them change at all with them struggling against the Congo, or do you think, hey, that's a gut check victory, they were able to prevail, get those goals late, and move on?
Yeah, you always feel that England have a little bit more, and you expect more from them, right? And the expectations of that team are sometimes higher than what the reality of the team is. They do have some top-class players, world-class players on that team. But they also have some players that it's their first World Cup. And you can see a little naivety and a little bit of nervousness in some of them. I personally would disagree with playing two holding midfielders when you're playing against the likes of the Congo, because it seems like they hold the ball in midfield and they slow the game down. And when Congo went up early, it suited them to allow England to have the ball and just keep playing it around midfield and not go forward with it. Having said that, there were some incredible saves by the Congo goalkeeper, and there's some great chances created during the game. And I think a lot of credit has to go to Jude Bellingham. If he can stay at the level I think he's playing at, and even get better as the tournament goes on, he can be fantastic for England. When it comes to Harry Kane, I was trying to think how many times Harry Kane actually touched the ball in the game. It was very, very few. You would expect more from him. But when it comes down to finishing, when it comes down to scoring goals, at any time, his value is incredible. So he turns the game around and scores 2 goals, and he is world class. And as I say, it's funny because he wasn't really involved in the game, but he gets those 2 chances, and he was taken down for what I believe was a penalty, which wasn't given. I think the keeper did take him down. So he had those massive chances in the game, and he can turn it at any time for them. What I worry about England going forward is that if you looked at the way Mexico played, I think it's the best I've ever seen Mexico play the other night. And they were playing in the Azteca, which is in Mexico, obviously, Mexico City. I think this is a very daunting task for them because playing in that altitude, that heat, and with the intimidation of that Mexican crowd, because they're fantastic fans, very loud, that's going to be a very tough game for England, and they do need to step up their game. They can win. They can go a long way to the semi-final or the final, but they've all got to perform at a higher level. I think they're underperforming right now. But again, as I said, when you've got world-class players in a team, no matter what situation you're in, you can turn it around in seconds.
Kenneth, we get you out of here with this because we have 2 teams that are going to be on the pitch today that have not looked their best so far this World Cup. Spain has had moments where they looked like they're just struggling, even though they're a contender. Portugal, we keep getting told that this may be the best Portugal team ever, but Ronaldo has been inconsistent. Who has more pressure on them today to be able to punch their ticket and get through? Is it Spain or is it Portugal?
That's a very difficult question because these are 2 really good teams, and both of them have not been performing at their best. I mean, if you look at France, they're performing at their best. They just look like they're unstoppable. These teams should look the same way with the quality of the players that they have in the teams. I think the pressure's on both of them. I think they're very close in talent. I think Spain is slightly the better team. But I think they both come in knowing that, it's win or go home. And that pressure, I mean, whoever's going to handle that pressure the best and perform the best should go and win the game. But it's very hard. That's such a hard game to decide on who has more pressure. Portugal has never won the World Cup. Ronaldo, there's a lot of pressure on him. It's probably the only trophy in the world he's never won, only big trophy he's never won. And, there'll be pressure on them in that respect because obviously the Portuguese think that they should bring this home. But Spain, up until the World Cup, were looking like the best team in the world. I think France has superseded them just a little bit in the World Cup. But when they're on their game, they're pretty much unstoppable too. So I think the pressure's equal, if I was to be honest with you, on both sides, probably slightly different pressures, but they're equal in intensity. And it's going to be an absolutely amazing game to watch. It's probably like this game has come too early. In the playoff rounds. It probably should be later on down the line, but it is what it is. It's the World Cup, and this is what happens. So I think it's a very intense game. I can't wait to see the soccer that's played in this game because some of the players on this pitch today are absolutely, and actually most of them are tremendously good players.
Kenneth, we appreciate your time and your insight. Enjoy this holiday weekend filled with nothing but amazing World Cup matches. We thank you for your time, brother. Can't wait to talk to you again.
All right. Take care. Thank you very much.
We got to take a timeout. We'll wrap up hour number 1 next.
This is RP3 and Meche live on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles is your home for the Houston Astros.
And the Astros stun the Mariners.
Hunter Brown, Yordan Alvarez, and the rest of the Astros are looking to get back to the postseason. You can listen to every pitch, hit, and thrilling victory of the Houston Astros.
Incredible!
As Robert Ford and Steve Sparks will be on the call. Tune in this season for live Astros baseball on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Need peace of mind with your estate planning? Turn to Beal & Aber, your trusted hometown lawyers. At Beal & Hebert, we make estate planning simple and stress-free, ensuring your legacy is secure and your future is in the right hands. Don't wait. Schedule your consultation today at BealHebert.com. That's BealHebert.com. Safeguarding your tomorrow today.
Every weeknight, MeTV has your laugh therapy.
To chase away the blues or the olive drabs.
With 2 hours of MASH at 5.
This guy's ankle has tickled my funny bone.
Followed by the Andy Griffith Show at 7.
Doggone it, Otis. He's supposed to be hugging me when I'm arresting you.
But he likes you, Barney.
Weeknights on MeTV.
Watch Meet TV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard, aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
What is dementia? Is it the same as Alzheimer's? What is vascular dementia, Lewy body, FTD, TBI, and CTE? If someone has memory loss, does that mean they have dementia? Millions of Americans ask these questions every day. I did too, and I learned. My wife Ginny developed dementia. I didn't know what to do or what was coming next. I'm Kevin Jameson, volunteer and president of the Dementia Society of America. I'm excited to offer you a free guide to understanding dementia. It's filled with facts about dementia, care planning, how doctors can help, and ways to keep your brain as healthy as possible. The Dementia Society of America is a national nonprofit, and we're ready to answer your questions. You want to live life to the fullest. I know that. Ginny did too, and I'm confident that we can help. Get your copy of the guide. Go to 1-800-DEMENTIA.org or call 1-800-DEMENTIA. Thank you.
You're listening to the 2026 LAB Award winner for Best Live On-Site Remote Super Bowl Radio Row coverage and Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative here on 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
So, James and I are going to be doing a little road trip this afternoon, a pre-holiday road trip. No lowdown with D-Lo. Our guy went on vacation a little bit earlier. Nice time for him and his wife. They're going out of the country. So we wish him safe travels. So we're going to be switching over to national here coming up at 1 o'clock. But James and I will be going on the road to Texas and then just a quick road trip over and back. Can I make a request? Instead of listening to the station or listening to the radio, can you figure out a way for us to listen to Bill Simmons' podcast? Because I'm getting reports on how amazing it is that when he found out about the trade, he was at the doctor's office. Can we listen to that? Because I think it's going to be wildly entertaining. And you being a Celtics fan, we can make that happen, right?
I can find Bill's podcast.
There we go. That's just, we got a couple hours on the road, so why not go ahead and just be wildly entertained by that? Hour one is coming to an end. Don't forget to go check us out on YouTube. We have Foot's new Friday Fury. That's already been posted, so you can go check that out. It's always entertaining. Our guy Kevin is what I like to call a maniac. And continue to vote on our poll question of the day, which today is our foodie poll question of the week. What is the most patriotic American cookout food? And right now, leading the vote, hot dogs with 41%, hamburgers 35%, barbecue 12%, other 12%. Keep those votes coming. Keep leaving your comments as well on Facebook and on X. Hour one is in the books. Hour number two, we're going to kick it off talking with Keith Smith. That's next.
Around Acadiana, community means supporting the businesses that make our hometown special.
That's why we're proud to spotlight local companies that are certified South Louisiana.
Delta Home Center and Delta Trailer Sales, your one-stop shop for utility and cargo trailers. Heavy-duty dump and gooseneck trailers, portable buildings, cabins, decks, porches, fences, carports, and site-built metal shops. Located at Exit 7 in Carencro or at deltatrailersales.com.
When you support local businesses, you strengthen the communities we call home. Shop local, support local. Certified South Louisiana.
Looking for your next firearm? Come visit Louisiana Gun Shop in Broussard. We've got financing options, 12 months same as cash, plus layaways up to 90 days. With a wide selection of new and used guns, we've got something for every budget, big or small. Have an old gun collecting dust? Trade it in or turn it into cash. Need parts? We've got the largest selection of AR-15 components in the area, from springs to grips and buttstocks. Explore our ever-changing used inventory online at louisianagunshop.com. Louisiana Gun Shop, your one-stop shop for firearms and more.
Looking for a great midweek treat? Come to Mezcal Mexican Restaurant every Wednesday and Thursday and enjoy their sizzling fajita special. $13.99 plus tax all day long. Don't forget all day 2-for-1 margaritas. Are you planning a large party? Let Mezcal handle it. Call 337-484-3298 and Mezcal will take care of everything. That's a fajita special, $13.99 plus tax all day Wednesday and Thursday at Mezcal Mexican Restaurant, 3546 Ambassador Caffrey, next to Rooms to Go. Come taste the flavor of Mezcal.
Whether it's a tempting text message or a quick glance at your GPS, taking your eyes off the road for just a moment can have serious consequences. This includes turning around or reaching down. Distractive driving includes eating or putting on makeup. Distractive driving is anything that diverts your attention from driving. I'm Lorraine Luquette Vinoy with Service Chevrolet Cadillac, encouraging you to drive smart, drive safe, and keep those eyes on the road, Acadiana. This message is powered by Service Chevrolet Cadillac and this radio station, where safety meets style on the road.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Carencro Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up!
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys! Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros fell 8-3 last night to Minnesota to break their 5-series win streak. Tetsuya Imai only managed to go an inning and a third and gave up 5 runs on 4 hits and walked 5. Next up for the Astros, they'll have an off day today as they prepare to welcome in the Tampa Bay Rays for a 3-game set starting Friday night at Daikin Park. The United States advanced to the round of 16 with a 2-0 victory over Bosnia and Herzegovina last night in San Francisco, despite playing the final 26 minutes with only 10 men. Opening goal scorer Flo Balogun was sent off in the 64th minute after receiving a red card, forcing the U.S. to finish the match a man down. The red card also means Balogun will miss Monday's round of 16 matchup with Belgium, which advanced after defeating Senegal 3-2 yesterday in extra time. Also yesterday in the World Cup, England pulled off a 2-1 comeback win over DR Congo in Atlanta. England advances to play Mexico on July 5th in Mexico City. In a blockbuster move on Tuesday, the Boston Celtics agreed to trade Jaylen Brown to the Philadelphia 76ers in exchange for Paul George, 2 future first-round picks, and 2 future second-round picks. Brown leaves Boston after a 10-year run that included 5 All-Star selections and earning Finals MVP honors during the Celtics' 2024 championship season. LSU baseball picked up another pitcher out of the transfer portal yesterday, this time in Caden Smith from the University of South Florida. The incoming junior posted a 4.24 ERA over 46 2/3 innings last season with the Bulls. I'm Blake Persher, and you're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. Dynamic duos are nothing new to Louisiana sports fans. Breeze and Colston, Burrow and Chase. And here in Acadiana, we have our very own dynamic duo.
You're beautiful.
It's the big, bald, bearded, and beautiful one, Raymond Parch III.
I'm sexy and I know it.
And the man with the best head of hair in sports talk radio in Louisiana and Mississippi, James Meche. Here is RP3 and Meche on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Hour number 2 has arrived here on RP3 and Meche on the big, bald, beautiful one, Raymond Parch III, better known as RP3. I'm joined inside the Beal and Hebert studios here in Upper Lafayette. Beal and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers, by the man known as James Meche. He's a producer extraordinaire, an LAB award winner, and the man also has the best trash stash in sports media in the states of Louisiana and Mississippi. But he's feeling a sort of way today. He's feeling a sort of way because his little team, those Leprechauns, made a trade that has made everyone scratch their head and going, what? What'd you do? To talk about what the Celtics have done and all the other flurry of trade activity and free agent signings that have gone on here in the association, we kick off hour number 2 talking with Keith Smith. Keith, good day to you, brother. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me.
Appreciate you making the time. So let's start off with the Celtics because, they go and get Mitchell Robinson, who's coming off winning a championship to make themselves better defensively. And then they decide to add Mike Conley Jr., who's coming off his worst season as a professional basketball player, to add depth. And then they trade their NBA Finals MVP and a guy who's a top 25 player in the league at the age of 29 for a guy that's missed half of his career due to injury and some picks. Give me your thoughts on what is going on in Beantown.
Yeah, I mean, the first two moves make complete sense. The Mitchell Robinson contract, he's going to help them a lot. He'll pair with Nemias Queta. You've got your center minutes covered between those two guys. He's really good defensively. He's going to help the offense with his offensive rebounding ability. So they're very happy with him. Mike Conley, that's just a depth signing. That's a veteran minimum contract. There'll be tons and tons of those given out, and the Celtics were a little light on ball handling in the backcourt, so they go out and get Conley. The Brown for Paul George swap it's tough for Celtics fans because Brad Stevens had talked a lot about how the team needed to be better and they wanted to get back into contention and all the things after what was a very, just not great year. And now we're in a spot where for the Celtics, it is, all right, like you say all this, how are we going to get there, right? Like this move doesn't make them better in the immediate. This is a future-focused move where you now have draft capital by moving off of Brown and not having to deal with a potential extension for him. You've freed up financial flexibility, but Celtics fans aren't overly interested in, great, so we can be good 3 years from now. They want to be good right now, and this trade just doesn't seem to accomplish that.
I also don't understand why you would make a divisional rival and a team that bounced you in the postseason better, because I like Edgecombe and Maxey paired up with Jaylen Brown and with Embiid. Like, Embiid automatically becomes maybe your third or even your fourth scorer now. You just made a divisional rival better than you for the next few years. Like, that's the other part of this. It almost feels like Boston got painted in a corner. Maybe they overvalued what they could get out of Jaylen Brown, and they just kind of panicked. I don't know. It's a head scratcher.
Well, to be very clear, this was the best deal on the table. People are screaming and yelling about, like, there had to be a better deal. If there was a better deal, they would have done it. Like, and I think that speaks to Jaylen Brown's trade value just was nowhere near as high as a lot of fans think it should be. NBA teams don't value him the same way that NBA fans do. It's a very similar conversation to the one that we have about LaMelo Ball, where super duper popular with fans, but teams see all of the things that don't necessarily lead directly to winning and that are replaceable with other players. So there's that part of it. As far as trading within the division, that's not NBA teams don't worry about that as much. Like, you're going to play that team 4 times a year, and that's it. It's 4 out of 82. If those 4 are what impact your entire regular season, you have a problem. It's not necessarily like the NFL where you run into the team twice, and those two games could be the absolute difference between winning the division, not going to the playoffs or not. In the NBA, it's such a small percentage of the games, they don't stress about it. But it is still a little odd. What I think the counter that I would say is there's no world where Joel Embiid is going to be their fourth scoring option on the team. That's Joel Embiid just doesn't play that way. If he's out there, he's going to have the ball. He's going to have the ball a lot. And he's definitely not going to be behind like VJ Edgecombe in the pecking order. But my worry is on the Philly side is Paul George had very much over the last few seasons there a couple seasons settled into, all right, hey, this is Tyrese Maxey, and when he's available, Joel Embiid's team, and I'm here to support them. Jaylen Brown, with this gigantic chip that's always on his shoulder, but now it's like a boulder, he's not going to come in with, all right, I'm here in a support role, let's go. He's coming in with, like, I'm going to show the world just how good I am, and that could potentially go sideways for Philadelphia. Everybody gets all excited when you could do the graphic of who's beating this team and put all these great guys together, but if it doesn't fit on the floor, it doesn't always go that way, and we've got countless examples of that. So I think it's a better trade for Philly. I think it'll go well. I just think there are some question marks that they've got to figure out.
Do you believe Boston did this to set up another move to maybe go get another player?
Not really. Probably not in the immediate. Unless their plan is to take the draft capital that they got and flip that. Everybody gets all excited about, well, maybe they're going to retrade Paul George somewhere. That doesn't happen in the NBA. If you're going to do it like that, you're going to do it as one big multi-team transaction. Very, very rarely does a team acquire a player in a trade and they immediately turn around and trade that player. It's just extremely rare. So if they were going to do that, then maybe something comes out. But even when trades get expanded, they often get expanded by adding things to the trade. Rarely do player destinations change in that, because you would wait to leak it out until you have a better, like the full picture of what the trade is going to be, because you don't really do these things piecemeal. That said, they do have some additional draft capital. They've got this first-round pick that is very complicated in 2028. That's either a swap or an extra pick, but it should be a pretty good lottery pick. And then you have this extra pick in, I believe it was 2031, I think it is, that they're going to have in the first round. So those are interesting, because 2031, as much as everybody's like, well, Philly's going to be great now. I mean, that's 5 years from now.
That's fair.
Joel Embiid will still be playing, right? So you kind of got that. So we'll see if they put that into another trade and have something else lined up. But I think this was more about down the line and being future focused than getting anything done in the immediate.
I want to step away from the Celtics. I want to talk about the Heat. Look, they swing for the fences. They go get themselves the big superstar, former league MVP, all-time great in Giannis. And I'm excited to see him and Bam on the floor at the same time. My question to you is this. They weren't able to retain Powell, who's a very good shooter. And in this modern NBA, you got to have guys that are going to be able to get you buckets from outside of 10 feet. What does Pat Riley and Spoelstra and the Heat do now after Powell was able to walk in free agency?
Yeah, the good news is they did keep Andrew Wiggins. He's staying. That's a guy who can get you some points on the perimeter and in the mid-range. They are going to sign Tim Hardaway Jr. That's a big-time addition for them. He had a great season last year for Denver. The Nuggets weren't quite as good as they had been, but Hardaway was right there in the Sixth Man of the Year conversation. So that's a big pickup. They're going to keep Simone Fontecchio, who's a good floor spacer. Right now, your focus is on our front court is set, right? They've got the guys with Bam and Giannis. They're going to get Bobby Portis in this. Your three big rotation is set. You'll add a veteran depth big that, was kind of a stay-ready guy. But now it's about getting more ball handling, playmaking, and shooting there. And they're going to be working with minimums at this point, very likely. Hardaway is the guy that most of what they could spend money-wise, and now the rest becomes minimum signings. But the good news is cap space is pretty much dried up around the league. Exceptions are going very, very quickly, so they're going to be able to pick off some bargain signings here, over the next week or two to fill out this roster. But I think this is another one where they're going to be be interesting right now in the immediate. I think this is going to probably take a couple transaction cycles for them to really fill out the guys around Giannis and Bam the way they want to.
We're talking with Keith Smith of the NBA Front Office Show, of course, talking about NBA free agency and all these big-time trades that have been going down. Keith, we'll move over to the LaMelo Ball Nas Reed trade. I thought that one was pretty interesting. It felt like Nas was going to eventually take over that big man role, but with them moving on and bringing in LaMelo, this is a whole new way to look at this team, and there's definitely questions of how the bench depth is going to look, but as of right now, I'm wondering your thoughts on how everything played out with how the Timberwolves and the Charlotte Hornets are going to do now, especially with the Hornets then trading Miles Bridges to Phoenix to go get Grayson Allen and company.
Yeah, this is the Hornets side of this. Is Charlotte is really happy with the upward momentum that they have as a franchise, and they feel really good about, all right, we have Nas Reed. There's no real need for Miles Bridges. I think they've been looking to move on. He wants a new contract, and it's very clear Charlotte did not want to give it to him after this year, and they feel very good about having Nas Reed to replace him. And I think in a lot of ways, Nas Reed will be a much better fit for the Hornets as they build this thing out. Losing LaMelo is tough. He was one of the engines of an offense that became really, really, really good as the year went along for the Hornets. But again, this is a guy makes a ton of money, doesn't always play the most serious brand of basketball, although in fairness, he has improved in that sense. But I think Charlotte felt like, all right, we can move, create financial flexibility by moving off LaMelo. We can fill the power forward spot with Nas Reed, which allows us to move Miles Bridges. And now we're resetting around a core group that's led by Brandon Miller and Con Knipple, and we've got really good role players around them, better flexibility moving forward, and we're going to continue that upward momentum. For the Timberwolves, this is all about how to get a guy in here that can really prove to Anthony Edwards, like, hey, we're serious about going. This has the Anthony Edwards stamp of approval. They should be a dynamic backcourt. LaMelo Ball will also help guys like Jaden McDaniels and Rudy Gobert. The only place where this could kind of go sideways for the Wolves is if LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards turn it into a circus sideshow act where they're out there playing like the Globetrotters versus playing winning basketball. That's where Chris Finch, the head coach, is going to have to get things under control. And they've got to do some work to fill out their depth. They're thin in the front court behind Gobert and McDaniels. They got to figure that out. That's probably problem one. And then you need, at least one more probably shooter or two on this roster around Edwards and Ball. But Minnesota's, they've done a good job shopping in that bargain market in the past, so that's the work they'll get back to now.
What have you made of what's been going on in Los Angeles with the Lakers? Because we could kind of tell the writing on the wall that LeBron wasn't going to be there anymore after this last season. And we're still waiting on a decision for him on where he's going to finish things out. But looking at it from the Lakers side of things, they moved on from quite a few guys, and then they just made an absolute flurry of moves to try and fill out the bench depth and even the rest of the starting lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a full reset around Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, and very clearly, once LeBron said, "I'm headed out," the Lakers are pivoting directly to which was always one of their off-season plans of, all right, this is Luka's team now, and for lack of a better term, Austin Reeves' team. These are our two pillars that we're building around, and I think getting Walker Kessler is pretty good. I know the contract was big, and they had to pay to get him, but that's how it works when you're trying to get a restricted free agent, because otherwise their team just keeps them. So that's a pretty interesting piece there. And then I think with the other guys, these are nice role players. I think they overpaid a little bit for Quentin Grimes. I think they overpaid a little bit for Sandro Mamakela-Spili. Colin Sexton's contract is fine, but giving all those guys player options, it's just weird. But it's how Rob Pelinka has done business for a very long time. Now we'll see what they do with like DeAndre Ayton's $8 million contract. Does that become something that they look to trade? As they just will continue tinkering, but the big stuff is done. And is this team better than a year ago? I don't know. We'll see. It's certainly different than they were, but it's a deep and difficult Western Conference, and they've got their work cut out for them.
At this point in time, do you have an inkling, suspicion, or a good idea of where LeBron's going to end up for what feels like his final season?
Yeah, this I'm not reporting anything because, as many people have said, anybody who's reporting anything other than the teams that are reaching out doesn't know anything because LeBron will tell us when he wants us to know. So, that's the first part. But, I mean, the Warriors are super interested. They are in a place where they can still probably make it work with Kristaps Porzingis. We could take the idea of them getting Anthony Davis in there. That's probably not going to be a thing after they re-signed Porzingis or extended Porzingis. But they can make it work with Draymond Green coming back, LeBron coming in, and they get after it with that group. So that's something to keep an eye on. And then I think Cleveland as well. Like Cleveland is motivated. They're looking to move off some money, whether that's Max Strus, Dennis Schroeder, Sam Merrill. Those are the guys that they've looked at. I think any idea of it could be a sign and trade that sends Jared Allen back to the Lakers. Well, that's out the window now with Walker Kessler being there. So it's going to have to be kind of LeBron finding his own way to fit in on a team. And people have mentioned the Heat. That one, it becomes extremely difficult to piece together. So we'll see if a mystery team emerges. Philly and Denver apparently have reached out. Minnesota had interest. So it's, he's definitely got his options here. And if he want to take a massive pay cut, all those options become that much more real. So we'll see how this all comes together.
And we get you out of here with this, Keith, looking towards the Kawhi trade of how he ends up going back to Toronto in a trade, which seems kind of interesting with everything and how it started to play out, given how it also ended with it being in one season. Seemed like there were some things going on behind the scenes, so they sent him to Los Angeles, only for him to years later go back to Canada and play with the Raptors.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, holy cow. I know the Jaylen Brown trade, the Lakers doing everything. This is how it works in the NBA. You get a big story. It's a cool, big story. And by the time you're ready to process it, the next big one has already knocked it off the planet by the time we get there with this. But, yeah, I mean, this is really something else. I think, there's a world where that Raptors team, they might be the best team in the Eastern Conference right now, with Kawhi. Brandon Ingram was very good, but Kawhi Leonard is a completely different, animal as far as what we're talking about comparison-wise. He's just a much, much better player in there, and he fits really well. They're going to be fantastic defensively. The big question is he going to stay healthy? But that was also a question with Brandon Ingram, so I don't think you changed much there. And then on the Clippers side, this was them basically saying, all right, now we fully have divested from the Kawhi Leonard, Paul George era. It did not deliver us what we wanted, but now we're done. We're moving forward. Again, another team that has created really good long-term flexibility. We'll see what they do with it. But, yeah, we're certainly in a place where, I mean, these big trades, just kind of drop. I'm surprised here at 1:20 Eastern where I am that we're not into whatever the next big trade is yet today. But don't hold your breath; it's probably coming soon.
Keith, we appreciate you coming on. Keep up the tremendous work you're doing over there, keeping up with the NBA front office show, and we'll get you back on soon. All right?
I appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me.
We're gonna go ahead and take a timeout. When we come back, we'll wrap up what happened this week with the series against the Twins for the Astros. Their win streak in series came to an end. We'll talk about how that happened. That's coming up next. You're listening to RP3 and Meche.
This is RP3 and Meche live on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Make sure you celebrate America's 250th birthday with Lafayette Stars and Stripes held this Saturday at Park International in downtown Lafayette. There will be kids' activities, local pop-up shops, food vendors, musical performances by Sold Out, Rusty Matoir, and Zydeco Crush, and DJ Digital, and fireworks to end the evening. This is a free family event, so make sure to mark your calendars for Lafayette Stars and Stripes presented by Lafayette Consolidated Government, LUS, LFT Fiber, Serving Good Vibes, AVA, and Delta Media Corporation.
Make sure to set your alarm and tune in Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock for Sports Shorts here on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. Join me, Ronnie Rance, and the Sports Shorts team of Tommy Christsan, Hunter McCann, and the crazy man, Joel Davis, as we break down the sports and teams that you love. The LSU Tigers, New Orleans Saints, and everything in between. Tune in Saturday mornings from 10 to noon for Sports Shorts here on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Stop smoking with Alex Goen patented hypnosis.
My name's Robin Fletcher. I've smoked for 46 years. I went to a seminar in March. I took my 3 sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's best friend and them went. None of them have smoked a cigarette, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
My name is Jen Carpenter. I went to a seminar to stop smoking, and it worked.
The only stop smoking method in America proven useful by the U.S. Patent Office because it reprograms your subconscious. Alex Goen breaks your connection to cigarettes, coffee, stress, driving, even other smokers. No cravings, irritability, or weight gain. You walk in a smoker and you walk out free. Only $59.99 or your money back. Stop Smoking Seminar Saturday, July 18th, the Hilton Garden Inn Cajun Dome at 2 p.m. Weight loss at 11 a.m. Sign up at alexgoen.com. That's ALEXGOEN. alexgoen.com.
MeTV is America's #1 classic entertainment television network. And here's one of the reasons everybody loves MeTV.
Oh, it's a classic.
The great comedy lineup on weeknights.
This will be fun. Come on.
With Meche.
Loaded with snappy comebacks.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I was just funning with Barney.
And Everybody Loves Raymond.
Now we got a show.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. Your home for the Houston Astros.
We could talk about the Astros losing last night and losing the series to the Minnesota Twins. We could rightfully do that. And we are a Houston Astros affiliate, and there would be a bit of responsibility to do so. But I'd rather do something else. Do you feel any better after we heard from our guy Keith, the insight that he gave about what your Celtics did? Or does it make you feel worse? Because he says he doesn't think there's another move coming.
I kind of feel about the same, really.
Oh man,
which already wasn't good. just to keep it clear out there, I didn't love the trade by any stretch of the imagination. I get that you basically were going to have to take Paul George to make the money work, but like you're telling me, there was no way you could have finagled one way or another and gotten someone like VJ Edgecombe. Like, if you had to substitute and if you had to give up one of your own players, like let's say it was, I don't know, Baylor Shireman, one of my young favorite players on this team. If it had to have been Baylor and maybe give up a couple seconds as well, instead of getting 2 firsts and 2 seconds from their side, I would have been okay with that. Like, as much as it would have been like, man, it felt like there could have been more out of it. Getting a player to make the money work, if you were going to have to move off of Jalen, which felt like that was going to be the case, and you had to take an aging player like Paul George on just an utterly ridiculous deal because these other teams just don't know how to make their money work, sure. But I wanted a young star or a young player that felt like he could blossom into something else, because as great as Derek White's been, I don't know how much older he could. I don't know how much longer we could see him play at this high of a level. Now, I've seen from other reports, like NBA Central, talk about how they're trying to see if Peyton Pritchard takes this Jalen Brunson type of leap.
Here's my problem with that. And people said, well, Jalen Brunson took a leap when he left Dallas, and they let him leave for nothing.
And became the head man
in New York. But we knew how good Jalen Brunson was. That's why Mavericks fans were pissed that they let him walk. It's not the same here. Pritchard has never shown anything in his career that he's Jalen Brunson. Not even close.
I don't think he'll get to the level of being like a top 10 player like Jalen Brunson is.
We saw Jalen ball out in Dallas, James.
Mm-hmm.
He did. It was a 1-2 combination. So it's not like Jalen Brunson had this James Harden type of career where Harden developed as this sixth man out of Indiana for Oklahoma City, and he wanted to be the guy, so he went elsewhere and became a primary scorer and a starter. That's not what happened with Brunson. Brunson was a starter in Dallas. So let's stop this narrative.
If anything, the James Harden comparison makes more sense.
Sense for Pritchard, yes.
Because he'd always been the backup point guard. They'd bring him in because he hits crazy half-court shots right at the end of halves. But I have seen him develop more and more. I could understand him actually being the starting point guard. You move Derek White to the shooting guard because I think that works better for him. I don't think Derek White should be the one bringing the ball up the court the majority of the time. I'm much more okay with it being Payton because Payton doesn't turn the ball over very much. He's shorter, but he's able to keep the ball away from others. So I could live with that, but to say that he would be at that like Jalen Brunson level if you give him like 2 years or so.
Level that was just named NBA Finals MVP. That's stupid.
Not quite, but I can see the thought process of what they're trying to do with this team.
It's a cost-saving move. That let's just call it what it is. They this whole notion that they were trying to get Giannis, I don't think ever really materialized. They have an equity firm that owns them now. This is a classic case of new ownership tightening the purse strings. This is what they're doing here. Brad Stevens doesn't have a role in this. He's being told this is how this is going to go down. You have Tatum locked up, you had Jaylen Brown locked up, but you need to move Jaylen Brown because we want to shed salary in the next 3 to 4 years. Pritchard is on still his rookie deal, right?
I'll have to double check on that.
Double check, but he's probably not costing you much of anything.
No, but I mean...
And, yeah, you got to pay Paul George the next 2 years, but after that, it's done. So you're going to save money in the next 4 years. Mitchell Robinson didn't cost you a bag. What, $42 million was the total of his contract?
47.5.
47. Okay, so we're talking about $5 million in NBA terms. It's like the change in my pocket between you and I. Mike Conley's not going to be costing you anything.
No. I mean, he's only going to play like 5 minutes a night.
So the moves they've made, adding Mitchell Robinson, which does make them better defensively, I will agree with that. Mike Conley gives you some veteran leadership. Okay, great, but he's not an impact player. Paul George, you're going to get buckets from him if he can stay healthy. I get all that, but they did this. This does not feel like a team that was in the Giannis sweepstakes. Okay, it just doesn't, unless there's a move that's still to be made. If they can take those picks that they got, the 2 2s and the 2 1s, and they can flip that into going to get another player, I think they're letting you know as an organization, they're never going to say this. Brad Stevens is not going to say this. The coach isn't going to say this. The players aren't going to say. They're going to say, hey, we're okay being a 5 to 6 seed the next couple of years. That's what they're telling you. We'll be competitive. We'll host playoff series. We may even win a couple. We may even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. But this is not a team making moves that's letting you know that they're trying to go win a world championship. It's just not.
By the way, Payton, at 28 years old at this point, he has 2 years left on his contract before he becomes an unrestricted free agent. He is going to be paid just under $8 million, and then he'll get paid $8.3 next year, before that 28-29 offseason where you would be looking for an extension.
There you go.
So I see the trial run to see like, hey, is he worth giving it in like a 3 or 4 year extension for?
But you're doing it on the cheap, right? Like you're doing it on the cheap to see if you can lock him up. The dangerous game of that,
you're giving yourself the flexibility to see if you can go all in.
But the dangerous game of that is if he exceeds your expectations, then you're going to have to break the bank because someone else is going to come calling for his services.
But now you have the flexibility to do so by moving off of Brown.
But once again, their moves have not been great. By the way, we talk about we talk about NBA free agency. Giannis, LaMelo Ball, John Morant, Kawhi Leonard, Jaylen Brown. Those are all guys traded in the last couple of days.
Whereas a lot of the guys in free agency that have done signings have pretty much returned to their team from last year.
And a lot of them are middle tier guys, which is interesting. Which is just interesting. We got to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll wrap things up with our third and final guest. Les East of CrescentCitySports.com will join us. How about them Pelicans? Are they going to make a move? We'll ask him that and more next.
This is RP3 and Meche, live on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros fell 8-3 last night to Minnesota to break their 5-series win streak. Tetsuya Imai only managed to go an inning and a third and gave up 5 runs on 4 hits and walked 5. Next up for the Astros, they'll have an off day today as they prepare to welcome in the Tampa Bay Rays for a 3-game set starting Friday night at Daikin Park. The United States advanced to the round of 16 with a 2-0 victory over Bosnia and Herzegovina last night in San Francisco, despite playing the final 26 minutes with only 10 men. Opening goal scorer Flo Balogun was sent off in the 64th minute after receiving a red card, forcing the U.S. to finish the match a man down. The red card also means Balogun will miss Monday's round of 16 matchup with Belgium, which advanced after defeating Senegal 3-2 yesterday in extra time. Also yesterday in the World Cup, England pulled off a 2-1 comeback win over DR Congo in Atlanta. England advances to play Mexico on July 5th in Mexico City. In a blockbuster move on Tuesday, the Boston Celtics agreed to trade Jaylen Brown to the Philadelphia 76ers in exchange for Paul George, 2 future first-round picks, and 2 future second-round picks. Brown leaves Boston after a 10-year run that included 5 All-Star selections and earning Finals MVP honors during the Celtics' 2024 championship season. LSU baseball picked up another pitcher out of the transfer portal yesterday, this time in Caden Smith from the University of South Florida. The incoming junior posted a 4.24 ERA over 46 2/3 innings last season with the Bulls. I'm Blake Persher, and you're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Row coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
You've never seen prices this low at Regional Homes of Opelousas. From June 26th through July 3rd, we're clearing out all inventory during our biggest clearance event of the year, the Red, White, and Blue sale. Look for red, white, and blue tagged homes across the lot. Everything must go. These move-in ready homes are priced to sell fast, and with deals this good, it's first come, first serve, so do not wait. Stop by today on 14704 Highway 190 in Opelousas to tour our discounted homes before the sale begins, or visit regionalhomesopelousas.com/red tag to learn more.
Did you know you can get great tasting Clear Springs artesian water delivered to your office or your doorstep at home? Clear Springs is 100% local with their own bottling facility at the world-famous Kentwood Aquifer, no chemicals added. Just pure Kentwood, Louisiana artesian water. Clear Springs Water offers delivery of 5 or 3-gallon water service with a hot and cold temperature water cooler or even single-serve bottles delivered to your home or office. Easy to reach, clearsprings.net, then contact us tab or 337-519-3563.
And now time for the Expert Minute, brought to you by Sugarland Exterminating.
Ever wonder why bugs seem to love your home as much as you do? One big reason? Moisture. Roaches, termites, and ants are drawn to damp areas. Check under sinks, around windows, and in attics for leaks or excess moisture. A little home maintenance goes a long way in keeping those pests out. Got unwanted guests? Call Sugarland Exterminating, 337-367-1414, or visit sugarlandexterminating.com for more information.
Sugarland Exterminating, the pest-free environment we're creating. Spiders, roaches, rats, and mice, those awful termites are not so nice. Get rid of all your pests right now. Call Sugarland Exterminating.
Termites, they're here. They're invasive. They can destroy your home if left untreated. Sugarland Exterminating has been in business for over 50 years, and they have the experience to effectively treat termites. Call 367-1414 or visit sugarlandexterminating.com.
And that has been your Expert Minute, brought to you by Sugarland Exterminating.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard. Aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
One is known far and wide for his luscious head of hair.
We just wash the hair. You know, I work on my hair a long time.
The other wishes he still had his. Back to more RP3 and Meche.
And we head out to the ESPN hotline to bring on our third and final guest of today's edition of the show. It's our guy, Les East, the award-winning columnist for Crescent City Sports. Les, how goes it on this Thursday, I should say? It's a Friday for us, but on this Thursday.
It's going well, James. How are you guys doing on your Friday?
I could be better. I was happy to see that the U.S. moved on yesterday in the World Cup, but then I saw my Celtics make a move and move on from Jaylen Brown to get Paul George. So I'm not necessarily it's conflicting feelings right now, Les. That's if I'm being honest.
Well, I can understand that, and also I understand the context, but still there seems to be a little too much celebrating about reaching the final 16 in a tournament. Okay, it's nice since it hadn't happened that often or recently, but hey, we're in the top 16. USA, USA, USA.
Well, considering,
does that make you feel any better?
I mean, considering 2 World Cups ago, they didn't even qualify. So, I mean, we're here, especially
in context, but you take a step backward and it's like, okay, you win the next one, then maybe we'll get a little more excited, and then, we'll see where this is headed.
I mean, I still have the expectations that they should move on to the quarterfinals, even with the red card that went for Balagoon last night, but we'll see how it goes on Monday. I want to start off with the Saints because there's a couple of interesting talking points that have gone down the last couple of days that I want to ask you about. Where are these Keenan Allen rumors to New Orleans coming from? Because I thought the wide receiver room was good and they already had plenty of competition and wanted to get younger anyway. So bringing in an aging veteran in Keenan Allen, maybe it's just a camp body in the coming weeks, but that one definitely caught me by surprise.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming. I would suspect that they're either it's one of 2 possibilities. One, as you suggest, if they can get him for basically no cost and bring him in to increase the competition and kick the tires, and see, that's possible. The other is that his agent's trying to light a fire under the market and say, "Oh, if you don't move now, the Saints are going to steal him from underneath you. You better get start upping that ante." So, I just don't. I don't foresee him being a significant part of the Saints if he ever does join the roster.
Yeah, it definitely just feels like a ploy from Allen's camp because I just don't see how he would have any sort of impact when they drafted not 1, not 2, but 3 wide receivers. We're supposed to be seeing soon an extension for Chris Olave, plus the other guys that they already have on the roster that they feel pretty good about. So this Keenan Allen thing just kind of feels like something that'll wash out within the next week or 2, if they even decide to pursue him and actually bring him into New Orleans and bring him out for a tryout.
Yeah, I think that's just stuff to fill the dead air in the dog days of summer. I wouldn't read much into it.
Do you see the same thing with Kenny Moore on the defensive side in the secondary?
Well, that one I would put a little more credence in that because there's a bigger need for help in the secondary than there is at wide receiver. Anybody, they have some guys at wide receiver who have contributed a little bit at least for them in the last couple of years who aren't going to be able to make the team. I'm not sure who they're going to be, but they have more than 5 guys on the roster between draft choices and guys who have some skins on the wall and guys who have played for them. They have more than 5, so somebody's not going to make it. in the secondary, they may carry a dozen defensive backs, and they can use some more depth there. So I think that's a more realistic possibility just because there's a greater need in the secondary than there is a wide receiver.
I want to move over to the New Orleans Pelicans for a question or two before I pass it off to Ray. We saw DeAndre Jordan get re-signed. That's a headliner. But in reality, we've seen a real lack of moves from New Orleans, which I'm not sure if that's a shocker, but I would have thought they would have at least signed somebody, even if it's not necessarily a big name other than DeAndre Jordan, to be basically the Udonis Haslem of this team.
Yeah, acquiring Jaylen Brown, re-signing DeAndre Jordan. It's, there's probably a little more excitement in Philadelphia right now than there is in New Orleans. But I think trades were a trade or two was always going to be a more likely avenue for any significant moves rather than free agency. I do think they could sign a free agent who's not a huge name to fill out the roster. They need to get some more rim protection. They need to upgrade their three-point shooting. They need to get better defensively, individually and as a team. And, some of this stuff can happen internally with a defensive-minded head coach coming in and young players mostly on the roster. There could be some development, but they still have to go outside and upgrade the roster somehow. I think it's more likely to happen through a trade. But, one free agent who's, not going to cost a whole lot is still a possibility. But, right now in the NBA, most of the big moves are made through trades and not through free agency. And so I think there's still time for the Pelicans to do something of note. But the fact that they had the 58th pick in the draft and they re-signed someone for their 18th or 19th season, there hasn't been a whole lot to get excited about as far as the roster, but there's still time for that to change.
We're talking with Les East of CrescentCitySports.com. He joins us here on RP3 and Meche. Les, you are a far wiser man than I. You cover this team and you've covered this league far more than I have. So I'm going to ask you a very straightforward question. How does trading your best three-point shooter, which that's been the rumor that they have Trey Murphy on the trade block, how is trading your best three-point shooter going to make you better?
Well, that's a very good question, Raymond. And it's not unless the stuff you get in return is of greater value than him and fits bigger needs. And, of course, three-point shooting's already a need with him on the roster. So if they move Trey Murphy III, they've exacerbated that problem. So it's all about what they get in return. And I think that's really key to all this chatter, not only about Trey Murphy III, but also about Herb Jones, is that the Pelicans are talking to all kinds of people about all kinds of things. But the idea that they're determined to get rid of Trey Murphy III is ridiculous. What they're trying to do is upgrade the roster in areas that need to be upgraded so that they can contend right away. And you don't get people who can elevate your roster in that manner unless you give up something of value. And Trey Murphy III has a lot of value, but supposedly they've been asking for multiple number ones as a starting point. So that tells you what his value is to them and why they aren't willing to move him just to move him. So, yeah, trading away your best three-point shooter by itself is not a great idea, but they haven't done that, and they're not going to do it unless what they get in return justifies what they're giving away.
It's a great point by you. I want to talk about Poole and Dawkins because you're talking about two players that were benched last year because of their poor play. They're going to combine for more than $40 million, I do believe, of salary this coming season. Is that a priority for Joe D to try to unload two guys that are obviously costing a lot of money but weren't good enough to be full-time starters?
Yeah, I missed the beginning of that. You're talking about Jordan Poole and who were the two players you named? I couldn't hear it.
Oh, Jordan Poole and then Hawkins.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, Jordan Poole certainly makes sense because I think he's making $34 million, scheduled to make $34 million next year, and it's an expiring contract. So the economic possibilities for another team make him more attractive than his performance on the court last year would make him. And certainly he didn't fit in to what fit in with the Pelicans the way they had hoped last year, and I don't think he really fits in with what Jamal Mosley wants to do. So absolutely they would be looking to move him in any manner that they could. Jordan Hawkins, I think, is just getting squeezed out. They have, a lot of young players in the backcourt. They just drafted another that they like. And so I think it's unlikely that Jordan Hawkins is going to have much of a role. So I think it's very possible that one or both of those guys will be moved if they can find a suitor who gives them something in return. Far more so than Jones or Murphy, who I think they would reluctantly trade if somebody gave them an offer to knock their socks off. I think their socks could get knocked off a lot easier when they start talking about Hawkins and Poole.
I agree. And look, I want to give Joe D the benefit of the doubt here because it's year number 2, right, in the offseason. We know what his resume says that he's done. The problem is that he didn't do a lot of good things at the end of Detroit, and we're still waiting for him to be able to turn this around. One of my final questions to you is this. If they don't make any type of big splash and they just roll out the team basically that they had last year, how are you going to invigorate a fan base that's watched so much mediocre basketball for so long?
Well, I don't think you'll be able to invigorate them until you start playing games because people are going to look at the offseason and say, well, this seems no good still. But I think it's possible when you look at the roster. DeJounte Murray is 29, going to turn 30 fairly soon. Everybody else is in their mid-20s or younger. They got the 2 lottery picks from last year. They have a new head coach who has a pretty good track record in Orlando. I think there's a potential for growth within with the younger guys getting better and with the defensive mindset improving. The 2 lottery picks should be better. And if they can keep DeJounte Murray healthy, we saw how big a difference he made when he came back last year. So I think there isn't enough reason to get excited about those prospects to go out and buy season tickets if you haven't already. But I think there's enough potential there that when the season starts, they're going to play well enough to generate that enthusiasm that the off season so far has not been able to generate. Then again, they could go out and start 2-10 like they always do, and then you're never going to get the fan base excited. So it's an uphill battle, but it's a long way to September, and I still think there's a lot of potential for internal growth.
I'll get you out here with this, buddy. It's our foodie question of the week. We're doing it a day early because we're off tomorrow. What's the most patriotic American cookout food? Is it hot dogs, hamburgers, barbecue, or something else? What says less?
Well, all 3 of those are outstanding, and I would like to have all 3 on my menu, but I just think for tradition's sake, it pretty much has to be hot dogs.
That's the correct answer, Les. That's why you're a brilliant man.
Thank you.
Hope you have an amazing holiday weekend with your family, bud. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Happy 4th.
We got to take a time out. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show next.
This is RP3 and Meche live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
With storm season approaching, ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana sports station, and Mid-South Power Solutions in Crowley bring you these hurricane safety tips. Make sure to secure your home and bring in outdoor items before the storm makes landfall. Have an emergency kit stocked with food, water, and medication. Know your evacuation routes and listen to local authorities. Stay informed with a battery-powered radio and make sure you have fresh batteries. Remember, safety is in your hands. These hurricane preparedness tips are powered by Mid-South Power Solutions in Crowley, your local Generac dealer. Visit midsouthpowersolutions.com.
ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles is your home for the Houston Astros.
And the Astros stun the Mariners.
Hunter Brown, Yordan Alvarez, and the rest of the Astros are looking to get back to the postseason. You can listen to every pitch, hit, and thrilling victory of the Houston Astros.
Incredible!
As Robert Ford and Steve Sparks will be on the call. Tune in this season for live Astros baseball on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
It's 9 a.m. You just received a voicemail from your boss.
Hey, Janet. Heads up. We got an important meeting coming up Thursday. The big guys are coming into town, so I need you in charge of lunch, and we've got to look good.
Luckily for Janet, she knows a place, and she knows her boss will be impressed.
Honey Baked Ham can cater your next event. Delicious and freshly sliced deli trays, box lunches with sandwich, chips, and dessert. Or try our fresh salad boxes and the perfect touch with a meat and cheese tray. Honey Baked Ham Company.
Your Honor, I would like to introduce exhibit number 1.
MeTV is America's #1 classic television network.
There can only be one number 1, me.
MeTV features over 60 of the greatest classic TV series each week.
Go with the winner.
Enjoy dramas, comedies, westerns, sci-fi, and more.
You just watch me.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB over the air on channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
MeTV is memorable entertainment television.
We are the soldiers of the Louisiana Army National Guard. We are your neighbors. We are your sons and daughters. While we serve part-time, we are learning valuable life and job skills. We are earning money for college, for trade and technical schools, and for certification. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state. We are your Louisiana Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard. Aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
This message presented by the LHSAA and the Louisiana High School Athletic Directors Association.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
Do yourself a favor and download the free ESPN Southwest Louisiana mobile app, powered by Moss Motors BMW for your Android or Apple devices. Download the app by searching ESPN 1037 Lafayette or ESPN 1041 Lake Charles. It's just that easy to take Southwest Louisiana's sports station with you wherever you go.
Oh, let's take a moment to thank our guest today, Kenneth Farrell talking World Cup, Keith Smith talking the association, and our buddy Les East talking a little Saints and a little Pels. Greatly appreciate them. Thanks to all who voted on the poll question of the day as well and left their comments. Where do we stand on the latest results, Mr. Meche, before we sign off today?
The favorite and leader is still, wait for it, hot dogs. Now, the thing is, hamburgers has slightly increased. They're up to 35% of the vote, so it's a pretty close race. Barbecue and other both sitting in the rear at about 12% apiece.
There we go. Thank you for all who voted on the poll question and left your comments. Reminder, we're going to be off tomorrow for the holiday weekend. We hope all of you have an amazing holiday weekend as well. Just be responsible. Okay? You want to have a good time, be responsible. Make sure you have your designated drivers. Make sure you're responsible with the fireworks. We want everyone, when they tune in on Monday to RP3 and Meche, we want all of you to still have all of your digits. Okay? Let's not get crazy with the fireworks. And
no JPPs this year.
No, none of that. Okay? Go check out the firework displays that will be going on throughout Acadiana. Maybe pop some fireworks at your own place in your driveway. Just make sure you do it, safely. No need to lose any digits. No need to set anybody's house on fire. Okay? Don't need any of that this holiday weekend. James, you did an amazing job today and all week. Proud of you.
It's been your pleasure.
Yeah, it has been. For James Meche, I'm Raymond Parch III. That'll do it for us for today. Once again, we'll be off tomorrow. Enjoy the 4th of July holiday weekend. We'll be back on the air on Monday, 11 to 1. Until then, be safe out there and be kind to one another. Happy 4th.
Celebrate America's 250th birthday, powered by Regional Homes of Opelousas and ESPN 1037 and 1041. We're giving you the chance to win a 250th Anniversary of America flag and flagpole kit. Listen on air for the American Trivia question, and you could be one of our lucky winners. We're giving away 5 flag and 5 flagpole kits during the week of July 4th. Thanks to our friends at Regional Homes of Opelousas. Salute, and happy 250th birthday, America.
The heart of Acadiana is its local businesses, the people, families, and companies that help our communities thrive. Here's a message from a proud certified South Louisiana business.
Candyland Cottage is the place to satisfy all your cravings. Find delicious ice creams, fresh fudges, truffles, hot dogs, sausage po' boys, Frito pies, and homemade shakes. Visit us in Scott and Rain for a sweet treat. Plan your next birthday party or field trip at Candyland Cottage.
Shop local, support local, certified South Louisiana. This is your Chiropractic Expert Minute, brought to you by Dr. Quentin Briscoe, chiropractic physician.
Hello, I'm Dr. Quentin Briscoe. Veterans, are you struggling with chronic back pain, neck issues, or reduced mobility? You're not alone, and you have options. Chiropractic care is part of your VA health benefits, and at Briscoe Chiropractic, we specialize in non-surgical, drug-free solutions to help manage your pain and improve your well-being. We are proud to work with the VA Community Care Network. Let us help you regain your mobility and enjoy the active life you deserve. In addition to the VA Community Care Network, we are also in network with Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Aetna. We accept motor vehicle accidents and workman's comp cases.